to this lecture number 2 of this course PH101, in which we are going to discuss about the coordinate system. So I will start with the Cartesian coordinate system in a 2-dimension, which is also known as Cartesian coordinate system in plane. This system you have already utilized in 10+2 standard and to solve many problems. So I'm doing here kind of recap of this Cartesian coordinate system. So what is this Cartesian coordinate system? It's basically in order to represent any point in a plane, we need two parameters. One is X parameter and another is Y parameter. It's basically the X parameter is the perpendicular distance from the two perpendicularly intersecting lines, which are called axes. And these axes passes through the origin. So in Cartesian coordinate, the position P is represented by a set of parameters X and Y. All points in the plane are therefore referred with respect to same set of X and Y. Now, unit vectors in the plane for the Cartesian coordinate system. In Cartesian coordinate system, one can define two unit vectors, unit vector X and unit vector Y, at every point in the plane. The unit vector X is written as X cap. Unit vector along Y is written as Y cap. For example, here at point P, the unit vector along X direction is shown with blue arrow. The unit vector along y-axis is shown with red arrow. Again, the same unit vector along x direction at origin is represented here. The unit vectors along two perpendicular direction x and y at point Q is represented here. These unit vectors X and Y are unit vectors in increasing direction of X and Y. So basically this unit vector is in the increasing direction of X. Similarly, Y cap is unit vector along increasing direction of Y. Unit vector X and Y are orthogonal and directed in the same direction at every point. What do I mean by that? That unit vector is having same direction at point P, Q, and O. Unit vector along X is same here at point P, Q, and O. Similarly, unit vector along Y direction is same at point P, Q, and O. Another way of looking unit vector in Cartesian coordinate in plane, X is the unit vector perpendicular to the X is equal to constant line. Okay. So what is meaning of this? That unit vector X is perpendicular to a line which is X is equal to constant. Similarly, Y cap is the unit vector perpendicular to a line Y is equal to constant. Now we are going to define the position vector in terms of Cartesian components. Consider a point on a curve P. Position P can be represented through Cartesian coordinates x and y. Which can be taken as the vector sum of two components OA plus AP. OA is a vector which is having magnitude equal to OA and the unit vector along x direction. AP is another vector whose magnitude is AP and the direction is along y direction. So the position vector of point P is written as x cap plus y cap. You might have used this different notation for the unit vector. For example, you might have used I and j caps instead of x cap and y cap, but you can also use x cap and y cap. Doesn't make much, doesn't make any difference. This is just a notation problem. Now we are defining the velocity in the Cartesian coordinate system. The velocity is defined as rate of change in the position vector with respect to time. Then we can write this as differentiation, okay, like d by dt, and then I'm writing this position vector in terms of the two orthogonal coordinate system x and y, like x cap plus y cap. So what is this? We can do the differentiation here. It is having two terms here. So we are expecting, if we do the differentiation by parts, first differentiation of the first function into second function plus first function into differentiation of second function plus y dot y cap. We are using same rule, differentiation of first function into second function plus first function into differentiation of second. So we get these four terms. By the way, we know that dx cap by dt is going to be 0 because the direction of the unit vector is fixed in this Cartesian coordinate system. It doesn't change with position, hence it is not going to change with time. So these two terms will be 0. So we know that velocity is going to be equal to x dot x cap plus y dot y cap. Please note that this is the notation which we are following, that dx by dt is equal to x dot. Well, this is nothing unusual. It's very well known that you are having velocity. You can have two components of velocity along x and along y. It's very well known. Probably you have not done in this way, but I'm doing all these things in this way because, it is having very interesting consequence when we are going to do the polar coordinate system, and you see that something interesting comes out. Now the acceleration, again I can write dv by dt. So I'm going to do the differentiation of this velocity with respect to time. And again, I'm going to follow the same procedure where I have followed here. And then at the end, utilizing this fact that the direction of the unit vector doesn't change with time. It doesn't change with position, hence it doesn't change with time. So at the end, we are going to end up with this result. Again, this is very simple and well-known thing that for acceleration, we are having two components of the acceleration. One is along x direction, another is along y direction. So Newton's second law in the vector form, if we want to write the force is a vector quantity, we can write this vector quantity component wise. So the x component plus y component, and then we end up with this result. Okay, so up to now, nothing unusual I have done except probably these steps where I have taken the position vector as x cap plus y cap and then try to do the differentiation of x cap. Okay, but let's see if we go to the plane polar coordinate system, what is happening? In the plane polar coordinate system, the point P is represented as two parameters r and theta instead of x and y. X and y is the parameter is used for the Cartesian coordinate system. For the polar coordinate system, we use r and theta, where r is the distance of this point from the origin, and theta is the angle made with respect to x-axis. Each point Pxy on the plane can also be represented by its distance r from the origin O and the angle theta OP makes with the x-axis. This is what I have told just now. And there is relationship between the Cartesian coordinate system and the polar coordinate system. So for example, if you are working with polar coordinate system and you want to go to Cartesian coordinate system, you can easily go. You have to just simply replace the x parameter by r cos theta and y parameter by r sin theta. If you are working with a Cartesian coordinate system and you want to go to the polar coordinate system, something is given in Cartesian coordinate system and you have to convert this one to polar coordinate system, you can easily do. And here is the formula: r is equal to x square plus y square under root. And then theta is tan inverse y by x. By the way, this is the polar coordinate system here. You can see that this is angle theta with respect to x-axis. This is the distance from the origin. Okay. And here theta is changed to 30 degree and you can have various distance from origin. By the way, you remember that in lecture 1, we said something that we are having a coordinate we are having a parameter corresponding to one particular coordinate system, which is function of another coordinate system. Okay, at that time it might be a bit abstract to you, but here you can see that x here, which is a coordinate in Cartesian system, is function of another coordinate r and theta, and similarly coordinate y is also function of polar coordinates r and theta. So this is just for making the lecture number 1 bit more clear when you are dealing with double dot cancellation. Dots cancellation. So unit vector in plane polar coordinate system. Now here is bit puzzle. Okay. Well, this is our Cartesian coordinate system. In the plane polar coordinate system, we define the 2 unit vector as r and theta corresponding to the coordinates r and theta. So here we are having 2 unit vectors, r, which is along r, and theta, which is along increasing direction of theta. So r cap and theta cap are unit vectors along increasing direction of coordinate r and theta. So here at point P, what is the unit vector? It will be along this direction, which is in increasing direction of r. What is the unit vector along theta? Is here, okay, which is along increasing direction of theta. Theta is measured from x-axis. So theta is increasing along this direction. So this is the unit vector along this is the unit vector along increasing direction of theta. Now here is the catch. The catch is the direction of r and r cap and theta cap varies with position. Unlike this Cartesian coordinate system, where the unit vector along the 2 parameters x and y, along the 2 axes x and y, these unit vectors were fixed in the space and it was not dependent upon the position. However, in this polar coordinate system, this r cap and theta varies with position. By the way, we can write these unit vectors r cap and theta cap in terms of the unit vector of Cartesian coordinate system x cap and y cap using some simple geometry. For example, here I'm at point P and I'm talking about the parameter, the point P is represented as r and theta. So at this point, what is r cap? R cap is along this and theta cap will be along this. So this angle will be theta from the simple geometry. This distance will be cos theta. This will be sin theta. So basically you see r unit vector r is written as cos theta x cap plus sin theta y cap. Similarly, theta cap, the unit vector along increasing direction of theta, we can write like this, and you can see that theta cap is minus sin theta x cap plus cos theta y cap from this geometry. Okay. So if we see these parameters, x cap and y cap are the unit vector in the Cartesian coordinate system, and it does not change with position. So, so this is a fixed quantity. Okay. So unit vector r cap and theta cap only depend upon theta. Okay, it does not depend upon r. So for example, if we are here and if we go here, the unit vector will be along same direction. The unit vector r cap and theta cap will not change. However, if we vary the angle, then unit vector r cap will also change and theta cap will also change. The another important point is these two are the orthogonal. These unit vectors are orthogonal, similar to the Cartesian coordinate system where x cap and y cap are orthogonal. Similarly here, r cap and theta cap are orthogonal. Now, as we define the position vector in Cartesian coordinate system, similarly we can define the position vector in polar coordinate system, and in polar coordinate system, the position vector P is position vector of a point P is defined as vector r is equal to r into r cap, where r is the distance from the origin and r cap is the direction here along r. In fact, along increasing direction of r. Remember, in Cartesian coordinate system, this r was x cap plus y cap, where x is r cos theta and y is equal to r sin theta. Thus, r is the position vector r is r cos theta x cap plus r sin theta y cap. Okay. That's how it is. Now, if I want to say that mathematically, how do you define the unit vector? Mathematically, how do you define these two orthogonal unit vector for this coordinate system? And this is defined as this in the polar coordinate system. If I want to talk, the unit vector r, physically we say that unit vector is in increasing direction of r. Mathematically, we say that this can be written as the rate of change of this vector if we vary r divided by the magnitude of this change. Okay. Similarly, the unit vector theta is the rate of change of this vector, position vector r, with respect to theta divided by the magnitude of the change. Okay. For example, this is true for any coordinate system. For example, here this is also true for the Cartesian coordinate system, that if we want to mathematically define the tau, what is the unit vector along x direction, that is the rate of change of the position vector, with respect to x. So for example, if we change del r here, del r by del x, if we do, here you will left with x cap only. And then x cap is already having only the dimension 1. So you don't have to divide by this. So basically what we are saying that this is the mathematical way of writing the unit vector. So unit vector along direction r is rate of change of the position vector with respect to parameter r. The unit vector along theta is the rate of change of the vector with respect to theta. And then you have to divide by the magnitude of these vectors. Well, we have already, if you want, you can do this exercise, rate of change del r by del r here. If you do, this will become cos theta x cap sin theta, this thing. It is going to be becoming same, which we have already defined, we have already derived using the geometry. But you can use this concept, okay, this formula to derive this, okay. So now we know that how this unit vector r cap and theta cap can be written in terms of the unit vector x and y. And these unit vectors r cap and theta cap are theta dependent. Well, we have written this unit vector r cap and theta cap in terms of x cap and y cap. But if you want to write this x cap and y cap in terms of r cap and theta cap, you can do some simple mathematics. For example, you multiply with cos theta both sides here, and then you will get this. And then for this equation, multiply with sin theta, and then simply subtract these two. Will end up with this result. And similar is the case if we multiply r with sin theta, we will get this one, and then multiply with cos theta for this, we will be getting this, and simply add them, and then we will end up with this result. So x cap can be also written in terms of r cap and theta cap, y cap can be written in terms of r cap and theta cap. So this is fine. So in the plane polar coordinate system, we find that the unit vectors are function of theta only, not r. R cap can be written as cos theta x cap plus sin theta y cap. Theta cap can be written as minus sin theta x cap plus cos theta y cap. By the way, what is del r cap by del theta? I said that these unit vectors r cap and theta cap are function of theta only. So what is the value of delta r by delta theta? Well, you can get from this here, and then answer will be minus sin theta if you do differentiation with respect to theta. And here you have to do, so cos theta will become minus sin theta and sin theta will become cos theta. And what is this? This is nothing but theta cap. So the unit vector, if we vary theta, the unit vector r is going to change, and then change the rate of change. The direction of that rate of change will be along theta direction. Physically, if you want to, or pictorially, if you want to know how it is happening, you see that initially we are here, and then we are varying theta by small amount here, let's say here, okay, and then this angle is extremely small, delta theta, and I want to find del r by del theta cap. So this is the difference between these two vector, which is this minus this, and then we know that the difference, if we do the vector sum or vector subtraction, in fact, you have to start with from here to here, and then angle will be along this direction. So I hope it is clear. What about the partial differentiation of the unit vector with respect to theta? Means what is the rate of change of the unit vector with respect to theta? Well, mathematically, immediately you will be able to get this answer, and that is along minus r direction. Okay. So here if you do, you can get minus r cap. Pictorially also you will be able to know this, that here we are initially at this point, and then we move by small angle theta, and we want to find the difference between these two vector, which are along increasing theta direction here and increasing theta plus theta, increasing theta direction at this point and increasing theta direction at this point. The difference you will be able to find that it is going to be along this, and it will be centered, it will be directed towards the center. And while the generally r cap is defined as, along the increasing direction. Okay. So this is the this is the pictorial way of explaining this partial differentiation here. Now we are going to talk about the velocity in plane polar coordinate. So standard notation, we know that dr by dt, when we write, it means that r dot, double derivative d2 r by dt square will be r double dot, d theta by dt is theta dot, d square theta by dt square will be theta double dot. Now let's see the velocity in the plane polar coordinate system. What will be the velocity? Velocity is the rate of change of the position vector, and here we write the position vector as r cap, and then we want to do the differentiation here. There are two terms here, and we will get two terms after the differentiation by part. Differentiation of the first function into the second function plus first function into differentiation of second, and this is what we are getting. This is easy to find. Okay, here dr by dt is r dot r cap plus here dr by dt is a bit difficult because we don't know what is the variation directly with p, but what we know that r is function of theta, and we know that very well. So basically we can write the differentiation of r cap with respect to theta, and then theta differentiation of theta with respect to t. Okay. What is delta r cap by delta theta? We have explained this one in the previous slide. This is equal to theta cap. So velocity, you can write r dot r cap plus r theta dot theta cap. Well, it's very intuitively clear that there are two parts of this velocity. One is radial component, which is r dot. Okay, so if there is increase in the distance from the origin, there is going to be the velocity along this direction. But if it is having some rotation tendency, then it is called tangential component, tangential velocity, or also it is called transverse velocity, and the transverse velocity is given as r theta dot. Okay, and this is yeah. So transverse component. That's fine. Okay. So you see how nicely it has come, that this unit vector is changing with theta. Now we are going further ahead and trying to see what will be the acceleration. Please note that del r cap by del theta is theta cap, and del theta by theta is equal to minus r cap. Please remember this part, okay? Don't forget, okay? Even it looks very simple, you know, when you are doing some complicated calculation, you will just miss some parts and then you will end up with wrong result. So that's why you should be knowing this, okay, and you should remember this formula. Now, what I'm writing here is the rate of change of the velocity vector with respect to time. The velocity vector is written as this: r cap plus r theta cap. This is the radial component and this is the transverse or tangential component. By the way, so we have to do the differentiation. This will give 4 terms. This will give 3 terms. So overall there will be 5 terms coming. The first term will be dr dot by dt, r cap. Then second term will be r dot dr by dt. Okay. The first term here for this one dr by dt, theta cap, r theta double dot, theta cap, r theta dot plus d theta by dt. So in all these terms, everything is clear except these dr cap by dt and d theta by dt. Okay, so let's write down dr. Okay, and probably it is same thing. Okay, no. Yeah, so here I have written r dot, r theta double dot, r theta dot, and so on. Now here, dr by dt, dr cap by dt, since r cap is direct function of theta, so we are going to do the differentiation first using the chain rule. So we are going to use dr cap by d theta and then d theta by dt. Similarly here, we are going to do the chain rule and we are going to say that this is r theta dot. Theta cap is function of theta. So we are going to do the differentiation of theta cap with respect to theta first and then differentiation of theta with respect to time. And what are going to be the final result? It is going to be like this. Okay, now I'm going to rearrange this acceleration into making sure that we are having 2 parts. One is radial part and another is tangential part, transverse part. So the coefficient of r cap, okay, the terms which is having r cap will be put together and the terms which is having theta cap will be put at another place together. And that's how it is going to look like. R double dot minus R theta dot square R cap plus 2R dot theta dot plus R theta. This is what rearrangement makes. R dot R cap and then there is here R cap. So which I'm going to put it here. Okay. So now Let's concentrate on this. Okay. It is having two parts. One is radial part and another is transverse part. So radial component, if we talk, okay, there are having two terms, r double dot minus r theta dot square. R double dot is very clear that if there is a rate of change of the distance, I mean the distance from the origin is changing with some accelerated rate, then that is the contribution for the radial direction. So if the particle is moving away from the origin with some acceleration, this is the meaning of that. Okay. However, if it is rotating, okay, and moving away, then there is going to be this part and also this part. Okay. And this part you are familiar with, and this is called centripetal acceleration. Okay, and which is directed towards the center because here minus sign is coming. Okay, so here r theta dot square is come acceleration towards the center. So the person who is here, okay, in the inertial frame, which is not accelerated, who is in the rest frame, let's consider for simplest case, and watching this particle, okay, what it is doing, what he is going to observe that, well, this particle is having some acceleration, okay, with this rate, and also it is having some acceleration towards the center. That's what this particle is going to see about this particle. And this is centripetal force, centripetal acceleration. And then corresponding to centripetal acceleration, there is going to be centripetal force. That's separate thing, forget about. So it's kind of mistake. I should have written centripetal acceleration. Okay. So r theta dot square is familiar, and that is called centripetal acceleration. The particle who is doing this circular motion is going to, however, the particle who is going to do the circular motion is going to experience the acceleration in other direction, and that's called centrifugal acceleration. So I hope that it is clear to you. The observer who is sitting, for example, at origin and not rotating, not moving, will experience that this particle is having some acceleration towards the center, but this particle who is rotating himself will experience acceleration away from the center. Okay, so that's called centrifugal acceleration. Okay, I hope that centripetal and centrifugal acceleration is clear to you. Okay. There is another contribution, which is tangential component, and let's talk about r theta double dot. So a person who is sitting here, not rotating, nothing, he is observing this particle, and if this particle is, the angular velocity is not fixed but it is accelerated, then this observer is going to see that particle is having some angular acceleration. Okay? And then that can be given as r theta double dot. Well, so r theta double dot is also intuitively clear, but there is something which is unusual term coming, which is 2r dot theta dot, which is called Coriolis acceleration. Okay, so the particle up to now, you have done the circular motion where the circular motion is called where r dot is 0. So that's why this contribution has not come. But here we are saying that, okay, r is not fixed, but it can also vary with time. So if that is the case, there is going to be another acceleration, and that's called Coriolis acceleration. So, I mean, we are almost there. So basically what we are saying that again, Newton's law in plane polar coordinate system is mass into acceleration. And it's very simple. By the way, this, if you want to write this acceleration in polar coordinate system, you have to be careful. This force is basically, it is having two components. One is radial component of the force and one is tangential component. And it can be written like this. Please do not write that, the force along the radial direction is simply mr double dot. It's not correct. And the force along the tangential direction is m theta double dot. I mean, this is a bit absurd dimensionally also. But here you might have some confusion that, many times you can write Fr is equal to mr double dot, which is not correct. You have to write the acceleration F is equal to ma, where a is having this much. So you have to be careful. Now, the choice of the coordinate system. By the way, why do we need different coordinate system? And this is because you should be choosing the coordinate system depending upon the symmetry of the problem. If you are seeing some kind of circular symmetry in the problem, you should be choosing polar coordinate system. If you are finding some rectangular symmetry, then you should be using Cartesian coordinate system. And why it is so? For example, if you are having a circular motion, you see, in order to describe a particle, if you are choosing Cartesian coordinate system, you need two parameters, x and y, okay, and which will be varying with time. However, if you are choosing the polar coordinate system, you don't have to worry about one parameter, which is r, okay, which is going to be constant. You have to worry only about theta, okay. So this is kind of, useful. Okay, so the velocity component for the circular motion, if r dot is 0, you will be able to calculate, and then acceleration also you'll be able to calculate like this. Okay, and equation of trajectory in Cartesian coordinate system, if you are writing, you have to write two parameters, okay, and then component for the velocity, there will be two velocities. Here, it's very easy. There is only one velocity, right? And then, in this way, it is quite useful to identify the symmetry of the problem, okay? And then use them, because it will be quite helpful to solve the problems. Law of motion or law of nature doesn't depend on what coordinate system you are choosing. It is going to give at the end result same, but how convenient, how much it is, how convenient to solve such certain kind of problem, by choosing certain kind of coordinate system, by identifying the symmetry is quite useful, okay. So you should be habituated with that kind of okay. So next. Okay, so I think we have already come to end to this lecture, and so this is the summary, that in the Cartesian coordinate system, a point in a plane can be represented by Cartesian coordinate x and y, and in polar coordinate system, it can be represented as r theta. For plane polar coordinate transformation relation to Cartesian, it is x is equal to r cos theta, y is equal to r sin theta, and r is equal to the relation between the unit vector in the plane polar coordinate system to Cartesian coordinate system can be given as this. And in the polar coordinate system, the unit vector depends upon the position and which depends upon the basically on theta.